Hey everybody, how are you doing? I hope you're good. We are gonna tap back in. It has been a while. I'm sorry for being gone for so long. Things have been crazy. Came out of Mercury retrograde. A lot has happened, so I think it's probably a good idea for us to tap in, right? I hope you've been well. I've been well, busy, tired, all the stuff that life brings with it, but happy and grateful nonetheless for everything that's been going on, all the healing and all that stuff. So we are in Libra season. Pretty sure we've already done a Libra season reading during Libra season, So we're just going to take a deep breath, say a prayer, and tap in. Pray to God, Spirit, my guides, my angels, and my ancestors to help myself, the collective, and anybody watching and seeing the clearest messages for the highest good, all involved in our love and relationships for a timeless love reading. Tapping in using the Sorcerer's Tarot. As usual, if you want to book a personal reading or see any of my other services, you can check the description for that. But thank you all for the support as per the usual, the comments, the donations, the likes, the subscribes, all of that good stuff. Yes. I know I said I was going to try to do readings more often, but I've just kind of needed to take space to myself. Ended up picking up it was like a whole work schedule thing. I had to change my schedule around. Picked up a shift, ended up having to switch and do some interesting shifts outside of my normal scheduling. Clearing through all the drama and stuff in the workplace, but I do feel like we're finally coming to a close with all of that, so I am very grateful. Everything else in my life has been improving quite a bit, and I'm very grateful for that as well. So yeah, but thank you all for being patient while I kind of do my thing, go through my own healing process and all of that. I hope your healing process has been well. I hope you're doing well and stepping into some powerful spaces that you've been trying to manifest for a while, but we're going to go ahead and just see what comes out. Give thanks to my guides, my angels, and my ancestors for any messages that want to come through today for us. So bottom of the deck, we do have the Hermit. We have a little stack that came out. We have the Seven of Pentacles, we have the Eight of Wands, the Nine of Swords, Seven of Cups, the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like somebody is going to be coming forward to you soon. If they haven't already, I feel like there have been some changes in your love and relationships, right? This is a love and relationships reading. I feel like there's somebody here is stuck in their head. I feel like somebody here is confused, questioning whether they are good enough for this. That's kind of what I'm hearing. Somebody maybe questioning whether they can actually provide what is necessary in a relationship like this. I feel like you may have gone into this space of maybe being, I don't know if it's like a separation energy. It doesn't really feel like a separation. I feel like there's been a lot of movement in this relationship. I feel like the seed has been planted here. I feel like the offer that has been made, while small, there may have been a gesture or something. I feel like it has been made. It may not be exactly where you want it to be or where they want it to be, but I feel like there is a compromise happening here. And I feel like that's what's causing a lot of confusion. I feel like there was a lot of confusion in the past. Not entirely sure whether I should do this, whether I should do that. Do I want to invest in this relationship? I don't feel like that's the question here. I feel like the decision to invest in the relationship has been made. I just don't feel like you both understand how that's going to look. Right, because keep in mind, in the beginning phases of a relationship, if you're not in a full-on commitment and you're getting to know each other and you're moving along with things, there may be a little bit of this energy here, because you're still getting to know your person and you're changing in the process. And so it's this energy of like, okay, I recognize that this is the person I want to invest in. I want to do this with them. I want to be in this relationship. However, I do recognize the importance of taking it slow. And this is the energy. It's like this. There's like a push and pull back and forth energy where it's like on one hand, the passion is flowing between you both. There's the desire to really move things forward quickly here. But then you kind of get into this space of like, well, I recognize that doing that in the past has led to this energy. I feel like you're both trying not to make the same mistakes that you made in your past relationships. And so it's like you're recognizing the potential of the relationship. You're learning from your mistakes, right? With the Hermit here, you're learning from the mistakes from your past. I feel like there has been maybe a little bit of communication about what you've both been through. I don't necessarily feel like that has been the main discussion. I feel like it's mostly been enjoying each other, you know, living your best lives individually and together, whatever that looks like for you. This could be something in the workplace. We do have pentacles, but it does feel like you guys are moving along swimmingly is what I'm hearing. It's moving along. It may not be something that's moving super quickly, but I don't feel like it's moving slowly. I feel like you're both kind of having to restrain yourselves because you both know what happens when you move too quickly. And I feel like there's just a fear of that. I feel like there are a lot of fears that are getting in the way of this right now. Because you're still in that phase of not entirely knowing where this is going, even though you both kind of want the same things. I feel like that's just causing a lot of fears to come up in both of you right now. Okay, let's go ahead and pull some more cards. We're just going to shuffle and see what comes out. We did actually just come out of the Aries full moon. It was intense. God, let me say, for me personally, I had some intense experiences. I luckily had today off, but I ended up after work, I laid in bed literally for probably about 15 hours straight. I got out, you know, to use the restroom and stuff, but I didn't even end up eating dinner. I didn't do any of my normal stuff. I just literally laid in bed for the entirety of from 4 p.m., 4:30 p.m. until I got out of bed at whatever time that was. I don't know. It was basically 15 hours, so about 7 to 8 a.m. I did not leave my bed. It was intense, man, and I'm feeling much better, and it's been rough today as well, but I feel like that's kind of the energy that's coming through because we just came out of that Aries full moon, still feeling the effects of that very intense release that came with that energy. I feel like a lot of healing was brought up, and that's kind of why we're seeing the Eight of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. It's seeing the bigger picture, willing to put in the work, willing to take a look at oneself, and willing to walk away from anything that isn't going to be building towards this Ten of Pentacles. It doesn't necessarily feel like anybody here is walking away from a connection. I don't really feel that. I feel like more than anything, somebody is afraid of what they're going to have to leave behind in order for this to come in. Again, this feels like a sense of not knowing whether or not you're good enough, but you are, and they are. And so now you're in this phase of okay, I see that this is going the direction that I want it to go. It may not look the way I thought it was going to look, or it may not be with the person I thought it was going to be with, but I understand that the reason all these things fell away in the past, and the reason I walked away from all this stuff in the past, was so I could manifest this. And I feel like that's where you're at. You and your person may be in a space of you may have just came back together after walking away from whatever it was you were dealing with. This could be friends, family, karmic partners. And when I say karmic, it's not always a bad thing. You know, karma helps us grow. Karma helps us, release parts of ourselves that may have been keeping us stuck. And so when we talk about karmic partnerships or divine partnerships, they're almost one and the same to an extent. However, I feel like in divine partnerships, there's the ability to still go through the karmic cycles and come out on the other side, completing that. Tens are completions in the tarot. Ten of Pentacles can mean coming to the end of that karmic cycle and really walking away from anything that was keeping you stuck in that loop. Really understanding that it's when you're in a divine connection or you're connecting with somebody that is pushing you to become a better person, if you focus on your own personal growth and not point fingers at the other person, I promise you from experience that it will transform everything in your life, not even just romantic connections or friendships or career. If you take accountability for how you're showing up in a situation, regardless of how somebody else is treating you or what they're going through or what they said or what they did, if you can learn to forgive and let go, you're going to transform everything in your life. I'm just saying from experience, I promise you, it's possible. I have personally done that in my recent experiences where I have decided that I do not want to continue. I don't want to stay on this cycle. I don't want to live in this Nine of Swords space anymore. I don't want to live in the confusion with the Seven of Cups anymore. I want to move in a way that's new and a reflection of who I want to be. It's not necessarily okay, is this person giving me what I want? Am I getting what I want out of the situation? Now it's more so am I being who I'm supposed to be for a situation that I want to be in? And by doing so and you reflecting that back to your person, they're going to see that, and if they're in alignment with you, they will choose to do the same. If they're not, it will fall away. And that's how you're going to know if this is somebody that you're meant to be with. Because the universe will not only bring you together consistently, even if you try to run away, keep in mind. This doesn't have to do with like abusive situations. That's a whole nother thing. I'm talking about somebody where you're not endearing. It's not anything like your past. There may be things that come up and, they're like, you can still hurt each other, in different ways, because you're triggering each other. That's the whole point. You're triggering each other so that you can grow together, ascend together, not go your separate ways and then go to somebody new and then go through that same cycle where you have the Nine of Swords, you have the Seven of Cups, you walk away with it's like choosing. I feel like you're still at that crossroads, and I feel like the crossroads never stops. That was kind of the message that came through in the last reading we did, being at the crossroads, or that was 2 readings ago, at a crossroads of like, which way do I go? That never goes away. It's like you have to consistently choose to be in this connection. You will always have an opportunity to go find somebody new. You can manifest a new relationship. You can do whatever it is you want to do. However, you're going to continue to repeat this 8 of Cups cycle. Okay, let me rephrase that. If you continue to make those same decisions, you're going to be doing things that are a reflection of the disappointments in the 8 of Cups. Right, this is somebody who, we've talked about this card before. They know what they're doing because they have studied, right? And I remember a message we got previously is you don't step up into the magician energy without going through the 8 of Cups. You don't bypass the 8 of Cups. If you look, it looks like it's the same person here. Right, it's this person here. They're now older and they are now wiser. Why? Because they did not bypass the 8 of Cups. They decided, I'm going to stick this out. I'm going to show up and I'm going to be the best version of myself, because I know that the reality I want to live in, I have to be that person. I can't live in this new reality if I'm reacting in the old ways that I have. So for you, in your situation, like if this is a love relationship, how are you showing up? When your person reacts or they say something or they do something that hurts you, how are you reacting? I'm going to give you an example. I'll give you a personal example because I feel like this is what I'm here to do, and I feel like it's a good way for you to see yourselves reflected in a situation, right? So, example, I have had multiple conflicts in relationships in my life. However, I have recently come to the realization, I also made a meme about it on my Instagram, the meme page, One Shepherd. I came to the realization that, look, it's up to me to face my insecurities. It's up to me to recognize that even though what somebody does makes me feel a way, it is not always a reflection of how they truly feel. It is not always a reflection of how they're moving truly in the relationship. It's this energy where I realize that, like, if somebody does a thing, it is not a reflection of how they feel about me at all. Unless it's like personal to a certain extent, right? I don't feel like it's a reflection of that, and I feel like that's kind of where this energy came in here. I took a moment to myself to reflect, to really look at my own life and my own reactions, insecurities, and fears. And sorry, there's this guy just riding through on his little mini motorbike. I really decided for myself, okay, I want to do things differently. I want to embody this 10 of Pentacles here. How can I do that? And I realized the only way for me to do that is if I show up differently. And that was hard. It's hard. One of the hardest things I've had to do was to face somebody after some very serious conflicts and show up in the way that I knew I would want them to show up for me. And by doing so, I got a different result. I got a different reaction, overcame the conflict. There are still always going to be conflicts. We've talked about this before. The potential for conflict will always be there, regardless of what kind of relationship it is. Conflict exists because we're complex emotional beings, right? But it's like I chose to overcome the conflict within myself. I chose to not pass judgment on this person because I too have done those things. Whether that was in that relationship or past relationships, they literally are just reflecting parts of myself back to me that I have embodied at one point in time. So I realize that it's up to me to show them a different way of reacting, to not react in my same karmic cycle, to react in a new karmic way, if you want to look at it like that. Start a new cycle, Like, start this 10 of Pentacles reaction. Like, how would the 10 of Pentacles you react to somebody hurting you opposed to the 9 of Swords you, right? Let's go and shuffle some more cards. I'm not going to say that it's easy, because it's not, and it's an ongoing process where if you choose to act and move differently, you have to understand that not everybody will always understand that. And everybody is always changing, everything is in flux, time and energy are always in rotation in varying ways. And it's up to you how you want to move. Do you want to stay in this? Do you want to go? What do you want to, do you want to think back in another 2 years and feel like you repeated the same mistakes, or do you want to learn from those mistakes? You know, somebody said to me recently, as I'm trying to get cards out, thank you guys and ancestors, but somebody said to me recently that they keep making the same mistakes. They asked me, why do I keep making the same mistakes? I told them. I said, everybody makes mistakes or something. I don't know if that's exactly what I said, but everybody makes mistakes. And the difference between you continuing to make the same mistake has to do with what you learn from that. Are you learning? Are you making the same mistakes, but are you learning about yourself in the process? Are you making the same mistakes, but realizing that it's helping you become a better person? Because by you realizing that you're making the same mistakes, you are growing as a person. That's the whole point of making mistakes. You're never not going to make mistakes. And if you ever get to a point where you're not making mistakes, I would say that you're not really growing. That's not to say that you're not becoming a better person, but everybody makes mistakes, and it's up to you whether you decide you want to continue that cycle. So once you have that realization, choose differently, you know. Don't be so critical of yourself, and understand that it's like, you're human, your person is human. There's a lot that goes into a relationship, and this is what came out in the reading that we were talking about on Instagram, jstarotservice. This is energy here. Okay, Temperance, 2 of Pentacles, 8 of Swords, Ace of Cups. It's freeing yourself from the need to make a decision, is kind of what I'm hearing. It's like, if you follow your heart and mind in balance, there's no decision to be made. It's like, if you know what it is you want, it's here for you to begin. Like this Ace of Cups, this new love beginning is here. But it's just going to take time. You're going to have to free yourself from whatever it is that's been keeping you away from this Temperance. We're seeing 2 sides of the same coin. Okay, we're gonna talk about these 3 cards. Temperance, 8 of Swords, 2 of Pentacles. To me, Temperance and 2 of Pentacles are very, very similar energies in the minor and major arcana sense. This being, I would say, the higher vibe version of the 2 of Pentacles. What is it you need to change within yourself to come into balance? When you're coming into union with somebody like it looks like you are, you're going to be faced with many opportunities to choose the old ways or the new ways. Regardless, it's here for you to decide. What do you want? I'm asking you personally to think about that right now. If you're dealing with somebody, what do you want? And do they reflect that? And if not, how do you move from there? Do you continue to work on things with somebody where you feel like you should be moving in a new direction? Or do you recognize the fact that maybe there needs to be some compromise here? When you are entering a new relationship, or you are working through issues with somebody you've been with for a while or have known for a while, there needs to be compromise. And I know a lot of us in this community feel like we are entitled to, you know, getting our way all the time because we manifested it, right? And I just don't feel like that's the case. There's a difference between manifesting love and then choosing to react in the same ways. Are you being, this is at the bottom of the deck, by the way, are you being so stubborn that you're not realizing that there needs to be a change within yourself as well? We focus so much on what the other person needs to do that I feel like we fail at looking what we need to change. How can you better yourself today? How can you show up better tomorrow? Right? If you're dealing with somebody right now, what can you do to make sure you show up better in this relationship, but also realizing that your needs are just as important? And that's where the compromise comes in, and I feel like that's what's going on here. I feel like whatever juggling has been going on, I feel like there has been juggling. If you're not really in a full-on commitment, you know, everybody has options to a degree. I feel like that's just the nature of being a human. I mean, we interact with so many people on a regular basis that naturally, people connect on different levels, and people want different things. People resonate on different areas. It's realizing that, like, you don't have to get every single thing you need or want out of one relationship. And I'm not talking about like going into an open relationship or anything. That's a whole discussion for another time. This is about a divine union between two people that are now realizing what they can and can't do in a relationship with this particular person. And it's not to say that either of you are controlling each other. And I think that's the realization that's being had. It's like, if you want to invest in this beautiful new connection here, you're going to have to understand that, like, you both want and need different things for different reasons, and there's different trauma that come up that are being triggered here. What what thought patterns are holding you back from really finding divine balance right here? That's what I feel like Spirit's asking you to do. It's like, let go of anything that is holding you back from investing in this connection if this is what you want. And that's the main energy coming through. If this is what you want, what do you have to do to maintain it? Not what does the other person have to do to maintain it, not how do they have to change. How do you have to change today? What can you do differently in this moment as you're watching this reading to show up better for yourself, your person, and this relationship, keeping in mind that you are starting a third energy bubble, if you will, with this person. Think of it like a child. You have to raise that child. This relationship is that child. You've birthed something with somebody, whether that's a child or not, and you have to raise it. That means that you both have to understand that this relationship takes work. It's going to take different things from both of you, and that is going to shift, right? There are the deep emotions here. I feel like there is a deep emotional maturity being seen between you both. I feel like you're watching your person transform because they're watching you transform. You're showing up differently because they're showing up differently, and vice versa, and it just keeps going back and forth. That's kind of what I'm also seeing here. We're going to go back to these cards. I feel like it's just balance. Things are balancing out. As you're freeing yourselves from any self-limiting beliefs, you are getting that divine balance. As above, so below is how I'm seeing this. It's like your higher self and your shadow self, if you want to look at it. Coming into union with yourself, and by doing so, coming into union with somebody that you share a very deep emotional bond with, and I feel like you both know this. It's intuitively felt between you because the emotions are there, the connection is there. If you want to take a look at the reading we did on Instagram, every single king in the deck showed up. So this person is stepping up, and as are you. This relationship is taking on a new, more mature status because of the fact that you both are understanding what that means for you both as individuals. I said for you both a lot. Let's pull some more cards. About 22 minutes in, got about 10 minutes left before the reading cuts. Let's see what else Spirit has for us today. I feel like I'm being very stern today. I don't know if it's just me. I feel like I'm being really stern. I've been having to resolve a lot of conflicts lately in my life, and so I feel like it's really pushed me into this very self-assured space, but also very compassionate at the same time. I've learned to let go of my own ego in so many different ways, and learned to let my ego have its space as well as my shadow. And I feel like it's really helping me transform a lot of things in my life, but it's making me realize how much I needed to change. How many things I was approaching from a space of just pain and trauma, right? Knight of Wands, Four of Cups. Bottom of the deck, Nine of Cups. We're going to take the other bottom of the deck, King of Wands, the Hierophant, and the Hermit showed up again at the bottom of the deck, okay? I just feel like this is going to be moving to the next level. I feel like we have a graduation here. A masculine energy, maybe, graduating from the Knight of Wands to the King of Wands. Somebody now is seeing that their old ways are the reason. It's like somebody here is like understanding that, like, however it was they were living isn't a reflection of what they truly want. Whether this is you or your person, I feel like this is somebody you're dealing with. They're now understanding that, like, that whole single lifestyle, you know, being a player and causing confusion in their relationships is really just an old archaic way of thinking that could have been something that they obtained from their family members, from their friends, just from their past relationships. You know, I feel like this is something where you both have realized that this is not fulfilling. living in a way that is just being a player is not fulfilling. It can be for some people, but it's, from my personal experience and from me watching other people do that, it is not fulfilling. It is not the 10 of Cups. It can be fun, but I feel like what I'm seeing here is somebody is growing up, seeing that their old player ways, and keeping in mind, it's like I feel this really deep welling of emotion and compassion coming up within me. I feel like as I am maturing and growing on this path with you all together, I'm now really learning to find compassion for people who may have lived like this, because I have lived like this. I have done these things. I have been in that player energy, as have other people that I have been involved with. They reflected it back to me. I reflected on that, and I, as of like late, as I started dating again, chose differently. I decided I don't want to be like that anymore. I don't want to be that person who tries to make people jealous. I don't want to be the overly codependent person. I want to mature into a King of Wands. I don't want to be the Knight of Wands anymore. And I feel like this goes both ways for anybody watching and somebody you're dealing with. I feel like I'm being very vulnerable in today's reading because I want you all to really see that it's possible not only for you to grow and change, but for other people that you're dealing with to recognize that as well. It's really letting go of these old beliefs, man. I feel like this relationship is leveling up, and it's causing you to really look at yourself and to really question everything you've ever known about yourself, about relationships and life. And I feel like on the flip side, this is something where, because you're maturing, this relationship as literally going through the evolution, I feel like the passion is evolving, the passion is deepening, but it's mature. It's not the Knight of Wands flighty energy. It's the King of Wands, like, I know what I want, and what I want is you. However, I do still want to maintain my emotional independence. This is what this card also speaks of. It's investing in another person without losing yourself, without losing your sense of identity, without losing your freedom. And I feel like that's what's causing confusion between you both. You both want each other so bad, clearly, but you don't want to lose who you are as a person. You don't want to lose yourself in this relationship, and you don't want to lose the part of yourself that you do enjoy living as. It's like, we're social beings, and I understand that we all have the need to socialize with many different people. Not all of us, but many of us do, and we derive pleasure from that. And it's not necessarily saying we're all going dating everybody, but it's like, there's the understanding that, like, there's a difference between doing this from the Knight of Wands space than doing this from the King of Wands space. And I feel like that's what's coming to a head right now. It's realizing that, like, you can still, be that sociable person, but also respecting your person's emotional independence and respecting the connection itself, respecting the emotional needs and fulfillments within this. Like, what unspoken agreements do you have with this person? I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. If you're getting to know somebody, there are often unspoken agreements that you have with this person to move in a particular way. And if one or both of you violates that, there's going to be pain that is caused. It's going to cause this Four of Cups. It's going to cause this confusion. It's going to cause, heartbreak, really. I mean, this is like a heartbreak kind of energy. This is somebody who is maybe feeling very defensive, because not only are they realizing their mistakes have caused issues in the relationship, but is now realizing that in order for this to really grow and mature into this King of Wands space, there's going to have to be changes made. And so I feel like that's kind of where this confusion is coming from. There's the decision between, do I want to grow up and stop living like that, or do I want to invest in this person, realizing that, like, while I can still do my thing, I can't necessarily act the same way as I always have. So this is somebody maturing, this is somebody growing up, and I feel like that's a perfect place to leave it. I do want to do one more pull. Very intense reading, I have to say. This Aries full moon energy is really coming through strong quite a bit, and we're only like 24 hours since it went full. I've got a few more minutes here. I'm going to go ahead and do one final pull. Spirit, guides, angels, and ancestors, any final messages that you have for us before I close this reading? Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, feel free to share how this full moon energy is affecting you in the comments, because it's been crazy. And I feel like it would be nice for everybody to. I've been noticing everybody liking each other's comments and stuff on the videos and stuff. So it tells me that you guys not only resonate with me, but you resonate with each other. And I think that's also just as important as resonating with the tarot reading. It's resonating with the community that we are involved in here. Okay. Okay, I don't want too many cards, so we'll just take those ones. Oh, are they all still upright? Okay. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Swords. What do we get? Hanged Man. Is that proper? Yeah, Hanged Man, the Star, and the Ten of Wands. So I feel like final messages here closing out, guys. Yeah, well, we're going to take the next card out under that as well. It's going to be the Page of the Cups and the Chariot, and then back to the Queen of Cups. I feel like because you have both decided to take whatever space you needed to find healing, I feel like Spirit's bringing you both together to put an end to this. Ten of Wands, it's like letting go of the burdens of this connection that have been keeping things from moving forward. And I feel like there's going to be some serious communication coming in about that. I feel like you're going to be getting some clarity here. There's been a change in perspective, and it's like, okay, I feel like both people right now see how their actions and reactions have caused this relationship to move in the way it has, and there is now a desire to move things forward, to move away and balance out anything that was keeping you guys, from really investing in this properly and really moving in a way that's healthy for you both. I say that a lot. Making sure you're doing things that are healthy for both of you, and understanding that if you're doing something that is hurting somebody and you continue to do that, you're going to generate that bad karma for you. You know what I mean? It's subjective. Karma and good and bad, subjective, right? But if you're full well knowing that what you're doing is harming somebody, and you continue to do that while still investing in this person, that's where the universe will often step in and say, nope, that's not cool. Either leave this relationship and continue to do that, or stop that because it's disrespectful to the connection and the person you're dealing with. And I feel like that's the realization that's being had. That's why we saw the Knight of Swords graduate to the Knight of Wands graduate to the King of Wands, because it's like, okay, I know that I am growing and changing and I am maturing because this connection is helping me do so. And I feel like that's what we're seeing. We're seeing some very deep spiritual growth. The Page of Cups is somebody who is a very intuitive, spiritual person that is really deep within their own emotions. This is somebody who is in touch with their emotions, maybe a little bit reserved at first, but I feel like there's going to be a lot that's coming to light. And it's going to be good. It doesn't feel like it's scary energy. This reading is powerful, but it's beautiful. I think it's leading to something that you've been wanting for a very long time. And it's coming to the end of some very burdensome cycles. It's like you're coming out of this hangman energy because you finally closed out a cycle with this person that needed to be closed out for both of you. And that's why you're getting your wish fulfillment here. This relationship, while difficult, is going to be very, very fulfilling for you both. And I think you're both seeing that now. I'm going to leave it right there because that was a beautiful reading. I appreciate you all for watching. I will, again, try to read as much as I can, given things have been crazy. Regardless, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to book a personal reading or see any of my services, check the description. However, that is all I have for you today. You have a fantastic one, and I will see you in the next reading. Goodbye.